Welcome to the SBA podcast, the official podcast of the School of Business Administration at Andrews University. Here, we dive deep into the conversations with our esteemed faculty, successful alumni, and ambitious students about their internship experiences.
Hey guys, welcome back to the SBA podcast. I'm doing another internship interview, and today I'm here with
Alicia Rivera.
Hey Alicia. So let's get started and let's talk about your experience as an intern and where you interned.
I interned in AdventHealth, Chicago location specifically. We had 4 hospitals that I was interning with, and yeah, it was my first internship, so it was a good experience.
What was your title? What was your, what did you do on a day-to-day basis? Sort of just give us a little rundown about that.
So I was considered a finance intern. So essentially, like the first month that we're there in the internship, we kind of do the clinical rotation. So that can be whether going in to see a surgery, getting to sit with the nurses on the floor, talk to doctors, seeing different procedures. And then towards the end of the internship, the second month, we went through the administration rotation. So we would talk to the CEOs, the COOs, the CFOs, generally just the C-suite. And we got to just experience what being an administration employee looks like.
So as a financial intern, what was your, projects that you actually, had to work on, or, were there certain things that you led, or was it a lot of group type projects, or was it individual projects?
So we had a couple of group projects essentially. Since there were 4 hospitals, there were 4 interns, we kind of got to split up each hospital between the interns. And so, for example, one of the projects was like a parking lot accessibility project. So we were trying to see if different hospitals needed to increase their accessibility parking. And this would just be, we each got our own hospitals, we would present our findings, and to different C-suite members.
So how is that, talking to people of, importance can be something that's a little nerve-wracking. Do you feel like, presenting became a lot easier for you? Or was it your first time, was it like a crash, or was it like just...
It was definitely an experience. I had never presented in front of C-suite individuals. It was just like classmates before. So this, you feel the need to be really prepared. You have to know what you're talking about, because this is the type of decisions that if you present well could actually impact like an actual company. So you have to know what you're talking about, and you have to be presentable enough that you look good, because they tell you in every internship that you have, this is a 90-day interview. So it's very important that you present yourself well, know what you're talking about, because you're going in front of people that are looking at you for a potential position.
Yeah, that's very true. I like that one, the 90-day interview, because it's very true that every single day treated like an interview. In a past episode, one of the students, Diego, he was saying, every day treated like an interview, like your first day of work type of thing. So that's really good. Do you feel like there are certain things, like you mentioned how you present in class, would you say there are certain classes that we have here at the School of Business that you feel like definitely helped you or you benefited from when it came time for your internships?
I think a lot of the management classes specifically, because I'm a management minor, so I think those really helped me with presenting, because that's a lot of what we do. Also, we do have finance classes, like Pepper specifically, he does a lot of presentations. And so I think those helped me a lot because it got me comfortable in front of a crowd. But it's definitely different though. So although you may be comfortable in front of an audience of your classmates, those are like your peers. So it's different when you present over people that hold a decision over your future.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. So like you said, there were 4 interns. What was the relationship like that you were developing with, say, said interns? Was it like, we're all here but we don't really see each other, or is it like, we're gonna hang out when we have downtime, or what was that like? What was it like for you?
Well, I was very grateful that all the interns were Andrews students. So I knew all of them, and I was close to all of them. So my roommate was Sophia, and she's another classmate of mine, and so it was very easy. And all my other interns, they were also I was close with them. So it was like we would always meet up, and every single weekend we would hang out. So it was very easy with working together as a group because we knew each other, we knew our working styles and our learning styles. So it was very comfortable experience.
That's actually very unique.
Yeah.
That's very, because I mean, another thing that's unique is Chicago. Like I know they do have an internship program in Chicago, but a lot of people go to Florida. So like being in Chicago, where are you from originally?
Originally, I was born in the Dominican Republic, but I was raised in Indiana.
So you're from this part?
I'm from this area. And I wanted to be in Chicago because if I decided a weekend to just drive back to Berrien because I have family here, I could.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Florida just seems very far.
Yeah.
And for my first internship experience, especially when I'm, like, living in an apartment by myself, I kind of wanted the security of being able to go home.
Yeah, that's smart. That's smart, making that type of decision. Are there certain things that you feel like being in that, that city environment, how did that feel, because you're going for your first internship, so that means, it's like this is a big thing, and you're not like an adult who's going through the city, going to work. What did that feel like for you? Like, were you scared? Were you like, have you been dreaming about that?
It was a new experience because I've never held a 40-hour job before, and I've never had to dress up professionally for a job.
Every day.
So every day. And so it kind of just, you hold yourself to a different standard also. You're walking into work, you're looking a certain way, you get into that routine, and it's definitely new. But once you get the hang of it, it's kind of like, well, this is a good experience to prepare myself for the future. And so I really enjoyed it because I feel like I got the preparation for any type of job that I wanted to get, especially those in like an administration job.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, 40 hours can really be, it's a complete different
It's very different
experience
from part-time,
from
especially
part-time. Being a student, I think when you come from being a student, those 2 hours that you work, you're like, man, I'm tired, I just worked. Or 4-hour shifts, you're like, man, I'm tired. And it's like 8 hours of being productive and innovative and like having ideas. It can be hard. So for you, what was something that you looked to for like that tiredness, like so that you didn't burn out?
Well, like I said, I was with friends during this internship, so after work we would have a meal together,
Just chill.
just chilling, watch TV. And then in the weekends, always like the downtime. I was close with, like, our supervisors were really great, and they were able to show us around places that they have been, and they were very supportive of like getting us comfortable in the area. And so it was just great having that little community, because AdventHealth in Chicago is like a small community in a sense.
It is, yeah.
So it was just like getting embraced even from the employees themselves. They're super kind. So it was like, even though this was a new experience for me, and even though 40 hours is a long time when you're around people that just want you to learn, want to see you succeed, it can be less daunting.
So you feel as though they saw you as like a true professional as well too?
I feel like they saw me to an extent as a peer in a sense, because they were hoping, they really want you to just come work for them. So it's kind of like they treat you like you're already working for them. Even though you're an intern, it's a 90-day interview, they treat you like you're a full-time employee.
Yeah, which is
like,
good.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you had that experience as your first time. I know sometimes that first job, that first real thing, it can feel daunting, or, the people that you're working with, they sometimes might look at you like, oh, this kid, or they don't give you the hard project because they think you can't do anything. But them at least looking to you like as a professional and taking you seriously, that has to also be like, makes you feel like, yeah, wherever I go, if I don't end up there, I can go anywhere. Because so that's really good. I'm glad that your first time was like a great shot. Do you feel like what's one thing from that, like from the time that you were there, that you held on to, like now that you're back in school? Like, do you feel like from your internship, certain things in school are easier. Like, do you feel that way as well?
I think because the internship was so based on leadership, I was able to, because now I'm an officer in a club, like a financial VP, and so I feel like it was easier for me to hold this role. I've held another role before, but this was a more like higher up one. So I feel like it was easier for me, and also just like I just came from a presentation. I did a presentation like that in front of a whole like C-suite, directors, cabinet, and it was very daunting at the time, but I kind of used the skills, used the preparations that I did during that time, and it kind of benefited me when I was presenting to a crowd. So I think the leadership skills that I learned there definitely transferred over here, and I think that's the whole point of the internship when we're there.
Yeah, it's not just something where, there are some places where it's, you're just going to learn things for the job. Some people, they go and they just learn things for the work, and then they sort of don't really apply to life or how practical the things that they're learning are. And that's a good thing that you were able to see the practicality and sort of it being able to influence you to change in that way.
Yeah, because I think a lot of what AdventHealth focuses on is the transferable skills. So if you decide, even if you don't end up working for them in the future, they build you to work anywhere.
Yeah, which is very key.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you had that experience and that comfortability as well with them. So I guess like another thing too is like what was your downtime show? So you get more comfortable. What's the thing that you had like after work, the show that you go watch? Like for me, it's The Good Doctor.
I love that show.
Or on the other side, I also love like this show called Alone. It's a show where people basically they're there in the wilderness, isolated, and there's no TV crew. It's just them and a few GoPros and some cameras, and they're by themselves, and they have to last a long time out there. And the last person standing wins $500,000.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a crazy show, but that's a show that after working, it's like, all right, let me go watch these people. Tough it out. What's your?
So I go from two different spectrums. Like I can go crime or sitcom. So like personally, I rewatch Castle a lot. If you guys know what that is. Castle.
Wow.
I love Castle.
That's an old show.
Yes. If you don't know Castle, it's similar to Bones. So it's a great show. But like the sitcom route, like Friends, New Girl.
New Girl.
I love those shows. It's just for a good laugh. It relaxes me. But Castle also relaxes me, if you can believe it.
I haven't watched Castle in a very long time. Wow. All right. That's so interesting. Yeah, that's such an interesting one. That's like niche to some degree. So like when it came to the projects that you had, were there ever times where you felt very overwhelmed with the weight of the project?
I would say yes, just because we had 4 projects that were due like during the same time period, and there was a big weight essentially because of the importance that was placed on them, because you're also dealing with directors. So one of the projects that we had to do was talk to individual directors and like revamp their website. So like the information that was based on their service lines, so like cardiology, we would talk to these directors, and you have to set up times with busy people. So it's just coordinating that. You have to build up the communication. You have to, as small as it is, you got to know how to write an email. So it's just keeping up with it, making sure that you have this time management, because it's very important that you meet these deadlines because it affects people. So
down the line,
yes,
down the line. And so there was something that you said about trying to make time with people who are busy. Do you feel as though your ability to manage like around, say, other skill sets of people got better? Because in a sense, like you said something about updating a website. You're not doing that yourself.
No, I'm not.
Right. So you're dealing with like UX designers, coders.
No, we're dealing with the website team, or the marketing team, I should say, essentially. So yes, I get coders, but when we were dealing with it, it was with the marketing director. Like he was the one that gave us the. So we were dealing with directly the coders. It was mainly just changing the information. So like
The content.
The content
okay.
of the.
Okay. How was that? I mean, working with that, because I know that's something that collaboration is a skill that you see, like people put on their resume, people put on their LinkedIn account, right? And it's like, what does that really mean? And I think that's, to some degree, it in itself playing out. You're collaborating with the marketing team, but as a financial intern, what does that look like?
I think it honestly just helps build all your skills, because finance is can be very specific, but being able to see different, like, or deal with different departments. So dealt with marketing, operations, also the finance team. It kind of helped me understand specifically what I'm doing, and also understand what other people are doing. So I think it's very beneficial to know how the company works as a whole. So being able to work with these specific departments assisted me in knowing how to be a better employee myself. If you understand what I mean.
No, I do, because it makes you more more well-rounded as a person.
Yes. And I think that's part of the reason why our first month was the clinical rotations.
Yeah.
Because we're dealing with the hospital. So even though you might not think about it, and I'm a finance major, I deal mainly with administration, it's also important to know what everyone does. So I think that was also beneficial, because I talked to a lot of people in different departments.
And then also, it gives you a good perspective for sure.
Especially since, like, hospitals, like, the lingo can be hard to pick up and, like, hard to understand. So when you talk to these people, to every individual, you kind of get more comfortable in the language.
Yeah, it's very true. So we're about to wrap it up. And I just usually I try to end these with, like, what's one thing that you would say, advice to, say, a high schooler who might be listening to this, or a freshman who might be listening to this. What's something that you would give them about, like, just the internship experience and things like that?
Some advice? Never think you're too young to start. So I started my business degree or concentration kind of later. I wasn't a business student in the beginning. And so at first I felt like this rush, this, like, daunting rush, so you have to get an internship, like, you have to start. But you're never too young, and you're also never too old. You can always try to get an internship. You can always try to build those skills here with just something as small as holding or not small, but holding in a position as an officer.
Yeah.
These are things that are skills that people see you can put on your resume and be able to get the internship that you want. So no matter how old you are, no matter what place you start in, if you're starting early, if you're starting later, as long as you build these skills now or start working on these skills now, you can end up wherever you want, honestly.
Very true. Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because there's a lot of people who I think they think everything has to be at a certain timeline, and it's not true at all. Not everybody's timeline is the same, and some people's is just different, and some people's paths might be different. So that's really good that you said that. And so what are your next plans?
So I'm graduating.
Yep.
We will probably be moving to Florida.
Okay.
We'll see. I'm just wanting to work with AdventHealth. So I think that being down in the Mecca will be something that is beneficial for me. But yeah, I'm just trying to take whatever I learned from college and apply it to my life.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, guys. So that's another episode, another intern interview, and see you guys next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
If you found this episode helpful, share with your friends and colleagues. Our podcast streams on all platforms that carry a podcast. Follow us on social media, stay up to date on our new projects. Your engagement and support make a significant impact. Until next time, keep exploring, stay inspired, and remember, together we can shape the future of business.